Cullen live in 1 minute. Welcome to Lynn Cullen Live at pghcitypaper.com. Email your questions and comments to Lynn at pghcitypaper.com.
Hello, welcome to a gorgeous autumnal Friday, October 5th, the year of our Lord. No, the year of your Lord, 2012. Year of my Lord, 5773. Anyway, well, I feel a little bit better today because, like yesterday, the night before, had been the debate, which is still just... Somebody suggested, I heard them suggest, and I think maybe it's true. Is Obama one of those people, and it's not as though I don't relate to this somewhat, who can't really get it up, so to speak, until the stakes are really high, until, the kind of person who doesn't write the term paper until the night before and does a good job, but he just can't get. And I'm just wondering if, to him, this first, he feels like, sure, he's going to make it. Maybe he's a little he's not energized because he's ahead. Those poll numbers make him, who the heck knows? But that maybe he literally needed to make it more exciting. I mean, I'm not saying this is conscious. Maybe he just unconsciously needed Romney to win so that he could have a fire lit under him to come on strong toward the end. And it's been pointed out that if you recall the way he operated in the Democratic presidential primary race with Hillary, which was, neck and neck and really a tough fight, how she was coming out strong and he just seemed so lackadaisical. It's an odd thing. He's an odd man. Those are both strange men. I guess we're all odd. Doesn't seem right to say, but very strange. It was as though, some people have said, I thought maybe he got some really bad news right before he went on and he couldn't shake it. Or he was, inadvertently given a sleeping pill. We had never seen him quite like that. On the other hand, I heard someone say this morning, and I find this fascinating because I had a little bit of this experience myself. This is a person who watched the debate and had the same reaction everybody did, that Obama had just been abysmal. And this same person then listened to the debate later, reviewed it by listening, wasn't looking. And he said, when I listened to it, I didn't think he'd done that badly. It seemed sort of like, a draw, or maybe even he won. And this is reminiscent of course, Nixon-Kennedy, the fact that if you watched it, there was no doubt because his body language, his facial expression, everything was so down, was so bleh, and Romney was so up, so energized. I think it was Jon Stewart who pointed out that, it looked like he drank, 20 gallons of caffeine, and yet he's Mormon. They don't do caffeine. He was, whatever Mormons get juiced on, he was juiced. I don't know. I forgot what I was saying. Oh, if you didn't see The Daily Show last night, treat yourself. Because Stewart, as one has come to expect, did a better post-mortem of the debate than all the bloviators and pundits that I've heard, read, seen, whatever. Just wonderful. Really wonderful. Okay. Well, good news for Obama today. That is the job numbers. Unbelievably, because nobody thought this would happen, the national unemployment rate has dropped, and dropped enough to go under that 8%. It's 7.8. I don't know many people who thought that when the election occurred that number would be a 7. And that's really, really big. There's one more jobs report before the election. That would be at the end of, in a month. But it's pretty remarkable. It shows not only the rate down, but the production of jobs up. Listen to the immediate reaction. This is mind-blowing. The immediate reaction from Republicans to those job numbers. These are tweets. Jack Welch, the capitalist, the former CEO of General Electric, that Jack Welch. Jack Welch immediately tweeted, "Unbelievable jobs numbers. These Chicago guys will do anything. Can't debate, so change numbers." So Jack Welch sees those numbers and flat out says that somehow what? The Obama campaign cooked the books? Those numbers are released by the Bureau of Labor Statistics. If Obama and his campaign could ever have cooked the books, believe me, they would have done it before now. It should be noted, by the way, that this same Jack Welch rather famously cooked GE's books when he was CEO. Oh, he's a reprehensible little man. But he wasn't alone. So one of the chief writers at the Washington Examiner, right-wing paper, immediately tweeted this. "I don't think the Bureau of Labor Statistics cooked the numbers. I think a bunch of Democrats lied about getting jobs. That would have the same effect." Can you imagine? So again, this absolute reluctance isn't strong enough a word. This obstinacy never to accept any fact that is discomforting. To dismiss it in whatever ludicrous manner you want to. They cooked the books, Democrats lied. Here's another one, a guy named Keith Urban writing, "Oh no, there's nothing at all curious about the last jobs report diving to 7.8% before the election." Someone else, Stuart Varney on Fox News, "Oh, how convenient." God. So, to me, the big news, for those of us who said, why the heck didn't Obama bring up the 47% remark in that debate? Well, we find out now that if he had, what Mitt Romney would have said. He was obviously prepared to deal with that. Maybe that's why they didn't do it, because they knew he'd be very prepared to deal with the 47% remark. Although, who would know that what his campaign decided was that if it came up at the debate, that he simply was going to capitulate. He was going to do the biggest of all flip-flops. He was going to do a total 360, and he was going to say, I was completely wrong. He was going to simply disavow what Mitt Romney had said. And since he actually did a lot of that during the debate anyway, Mitt Romney disavowing Mitt Romney saying that Mitt Romney never said that, Mitt Romney's tax plan, Mitt Romney's, was not Mitt Romney's tax plan. But this is another reason that it's pretty hard to debate somebody who absolutely refuses to be pinned down on any even statement he makes, because he'll simply disavow it or say he never said it. How do you debate somebody like that? So 3 weeks after he says that 47%, bunch of moochers, to hell with them, now he said he was completely wrong. So what does that say? The follow-up question then to Mitt Romney would have been, well, wait a minute. If you make a statement like that 47% of Americans are essentially lazy bums who depend on handouts from the government, why would you say such a thing? I can see being wrong about a number, or being wrong about a clear message of contempt for half of the country. What? So it took him 3 weeks to decide that he was not contemptuous of half the country? It doesn't wash. It makes no sense. And he gets away with this? It took him 3 weeks to decide he was wrong. Now, why would all of a sudden he decide he was wrong? The fact of the matter is that Mitt Romney really is a shapeshifter. He's says what I don't even know. Do you think he actually believes what he's saying when he says it? There's no there. And here again, there is no excuse for Barack Obama's absolutely apathetic performance the other night. But I would also say that it is very difficult to hit a constantly moving target, a shifting target. Whatever he said, it doesn't matter. Just as his followers and those who support him just simply disregard facts when they become troublesome. I don't know how do you deal if you're in a world of reality, if you're dealing with reality and facts to a certain extent, as much as politics allows it. How do you deal with that? And what happens to all those Republicans who applauded his 47% remark, who wholeheartedly doubled down on him and agreed with him? Now he's turned on them, too, saying, that's absolutely, completely wrong. So he leaves them hanging out there, they who thought they were supporting him, now hang. He does this with such regularity that it is no wonder that no one really likes the guy. Speaking of a guy that nobody likes, this one must be one of the more detestable human beings in the universe. We got a call, and I'm not talking about the caller there. Hello, caller.
Hello.
Hi.
How you doing, Lynn?
I'm doing okay.
Hey, Lynn, I watched that debate, and I thought that Obama should have done more, but then after I watched the next day how they were dissecting Romney's lies, it brought more attention to all the lies he tells. So I, in a way, thought it maybe made it better. And then Obama on the campaign trail was putting him to shame, too, so it might have worked out for the best.
Okay, well,
have a good day.
Thank you. There's a guy who's got a glass half full mentality, something that I do not have. Could be. I don't know. I don't know if the debate makes a damn bit of difference. I really don't know. The fact is that most people already, of course, it makes no difference. Their minds are made up. They know who they're voting for. So, and they listen to the media you're talking about that are dissecting what he said and saying that's a lie, that's a lie, that's a lie, that's a lie. The pro-Romney camp doesn't ingest that media. That's another lousy thing that's happened. Do you think Fox News is doing reports on that was a lie, that was a lie, that was a lie, that was a lie? No, they're doing all these triumphal things. I was talking about one of the more contemptible human beings in the world. I have not identified him as yet. He happens to be the co-chair of Mitt Romney's campaign. You'll recall that the other co-chair decamped a few weeks ago. Was that Tim Pawlenty? He said, screw this, I'm out of here, and took a job, with some, as a lobbyist probably a lobbyist for hedge funds, I don't know. But got down to making some money and jumping off this dysfunctional bandwagon he was on. So that leaves the other co-chair, and that is former governor of the state of New Hampshire, the truly vile John Sununu. I happen to, and I'm so sorry I did, I happened to be in my car yesterday for some time and have satellite radio and was listening to Andrea Mitchell's afternoon MSNBC show. And, of course, she's doing all this post-debate stuff. She had as a guest this aforementioned vile John Sununu. What came out of his mouth was so shocking. You know how they say, you remember where you were when these certain events happen? Well, the same is true when something hits you when you're driving in your car. You actually, I have apps. I can tell you exactly what block I was in, what was around me, the car. Because there's some kind of, you're just so, you're so all of a sudden alert and acutely aware because you cannot believe what you're hearing. I can see me now exactly where I was when John Sununu said about the president, he's not too bright and he's lazy. And he kept going. And when he was done, Mitchell said, Governor, I'm going to give you an opportunity here to maybe rethink what you said. You called the President of the United States lazy, and you said he was not too bright. Do you really stand by you stand by those remarks? Oh, man. He not only stood by him, again, I think he piled on and added a few more things. Turns out that earlier he had been on a Fox show, and had said the exact same things and had said, don't expect anything different in the second debate and the third debate, because the reality is he's not going to do any better in the future, because, when you're not too bright, there's no way you can get better prepared. So here's John Sununu saying that Barack Obama is a dim bulb and that he's lazy. Okay. He managed not to say shiftless. But this is, no one in their right mind would suggest that Barack Obama is not bright. Although that is, I guess, one of the ongoing memes in conservative talk. I know Limbaugh's always saying, oh, heck, if he got say he was going to get a C or a D in one of those classes at Harvard, somehow the fix would be in, and he got his A's. Everything's always been easy for him. The path has been... What? They just make this stuff up. Contemptible. Caller, hi.
Hey, Lynn, how are you doing?
I'm okay.
Yeah, there is a bit of good news for the Obama campaign today, with the unemployment rate
right.
falling under 8%,
Right.
The lowest rate since he took office. Obviously, 7.8 is not good by any stretch of the imagination, but the job numbers came in. They were right in the middle of predictions, and then August and July got revised upward. So the economic numbers are good.
Yeah, the economy everything's trending up. It's not, it's slow, but it's, there's a recovery happening.
Let me react to this. The John Sununu comments, I have no idea why such a detestable human being gets invited on these shows again and again. He's made absolutely despicable comments about the president before.
Yes, he has.
Such as saying he needed to learn how to be an American, and
that's right.
This isn't the first time, and this is partly why, and I'll explain it to you. I was not only very dismayed because of what it meant for the campaign, but also angry that Barack Obama was not engaged in the first debate.
Well, I was too, and I expressed that yesterday. My reaction was mostly anger. And you know what? That was what Jon Stewart said, essentially, last night. Hey, buddy, there's no way that we should care more about you retaining your job than you seem to.
And not only that, the debate performance... Now, the debate performance, honestly, incumbents generally lose. They're judged generally, historically, to lose the first debate.
Right.
Because the challenger gains more credibility. The challenger does have a record with which to go after the incumbent. The big exception was Bill Clinton. I don't think Barack Obama, whatever his rhetorical skills, is the equal of Bill Clinton.
No, few are.
In terms of the ability to debate, the ability to extemporaneously come up with rhetoric and arguments. I don't think there's any question of that. And I agree. Dealing with an absolutely brazen, shameless liar and bullshit artist like Mitt Romney is damn hard. And it might have been that all the president could do that night, if he was engaged, and showed some passion, was call Romney out on his bullshit. It might have meant that he spent the whole night
saying you're lying. You're
lying. Well, yeah, and you can't call him a liar up on that stage.
That's not true. That's not true, you could say.
Yeah, you could say, well, now look, Mitt Romney has said that his plan is going to cover people with pre-existing conditions. Now, he's He's cast a lot of doubt on that in the past, and from what I understand, now I know he didn't get any details, unless he's going to go back to Romneycare, which he has disavowed, like he's disavowed everything else that he did as governor. Well, now that's simply not going to be the case, because he doesn't want an individual mandate. And that's wonky, and you're right, you are still playing defense, but at least you're playing defense, because he wasn't playing much of a game. The president wasn't playing much of a game on Wednesday night. Now that being said,
yeah,
I'm angry because I've read and heard comments that the right has made about Barack Obama and Michelle Obama. And so many of them are just utterly either slanderous, despicable, contemptible, let alone the subset that are racist.
Right. Yeah.
And
right.
It angers me a great deal that the morning after they were able to take satisfaction in Wednesday's debate. It really does. Because honestly, for the past month or so, I've been looking forward to the day when he's reelected, and I could, maybe go online, post at every right-wing site I could find, and call every damn right-wing talk show, and basically tell them to drop dead. That the Marxist Kenyan socialist, secret closet Muslim usurper, who only won the election because Acorn and the Black Panther Party rigged the results. Somehow he beat their boy Romney, and I really, really want that day to come. I really, really do. When I think about John Sununu or Newt Gingrich, who made this similar comments on another talk show, and again, he's another individual. I don't know why he's invited on to any sort of polite company. When I think about that, and I think about George W. Bush, and even who was one of the worst communicators in modern presidential history, certainly turned in an absolutely terrible, nearly semi-literate debate performance against John Kerry,
right,
in their first time together when they were on stage together. Certainly showed no aptitude for reasoned analysis. At one time said he really didn't like to read lengthy documents. Even I never would say that he was stupid or, slow-witted. I think he was incredibly mentally lazy. I think he was willfully ignorant and only believed what he wanted to believe. But to suggest that he was, I don't know. I'm just, a common citizen. Let alone, can you think of any, and I mean any, Democratic official or, Al Gore campaign executive or Kerry campaign honcho who would have gone onto national television and called George W. Bush stupid? Can you think of one? Can you think of one? Any?
I mean, to be honest, though, I seem to recall it. I mean, we loathed often.
Absolutely.
And we didn't think he was very bright, and he didn't seem to be engaged a lot, and we said Cheney was running things. I mean, I don't know. I might have come pretty close to calling him stupid. I might have. I don't know. I don't recall that I did, but I sure as hell might have. I know I thought it. I thought often, I think what I often said is he exhibits absolutely no intellectual curiosity.
Yeah, exactly.
Anything. That's the thing that blew me away.
I can certainly be critical about Barack Obama, where he can, for example, I don't think he's the best one-on-one debater in the political arena. I certainly think there are times he simply does become disengaged and aloof. And I'd say the same thing about George. I don't have much complimentary to say about the man's exercise of his intellect.
Yeah.
But, I mean, for the campaign co-chair,
no,
say
it's
what
an
he
outrage.
said,
No,
and,
it's an
and
outrage.
Some other Romney surrogates, such
No.
as Gingrich,
No, it's an
to say the things they've said.
It's
Can you think
despicable.
of one
No.
Democratic governor who ever wagged his or her finger in the face of George W. Bush?
No.
The way Jan Brewer did?
No, that's true. There's been an obvious lack of respect for this president. But then again, we have seen it's not just Obama, it was Clinton as well.
Yes.
There is a sense on the part of Republicans in there's a mindset that somehow the executive branch, I guess, belongs to them, and any Democrat who manages to break in is there for some reason illegally. They are absolutely. They did it with Clinton. They're doing it with Obama. It's despicable, and it will not stop. I got to go. I got to take a break.
Bye.
Bye. Nice to talk to you. No, John Sununu. And I got to tell you, I wasn't watching. I was listening. Mitchell looked. Or not look, because I couldn't see her, sounded like she wanted to strangle him. And you could tell she was, and when she went to a commercial, I remember thinking, I bet she is, just screaming now, trying to get rid of the anger and the sense of, when you're talking with somebody who's that vile, you feel slimed. And you could tell she just, you could tell. How vile. Made for great, I'm telling you, somebody listening, that's great stuff. That's entertainment. Hate to tell you. Okay, do have to take a break.
Stick around for more with Lynn Cullen Live after this.
East Liberty is alive with new shops and fun things to do. The next time you're in the area, stop at Wear to Impress for its grand opening. Wear to Impress has many fashions for men that you won't find anywhere in Pittsburgh. They have jeans at 50% off, suits starting at $99, casual jackets at 60% off, big and tall sizes, and much more. Wear to Impress is located in the heart of East Liberty's business district at 6105 Penn Avenue. They're open Monday through Saturday from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. You can reach them at 412-441-1150. Wear to Impress is your one-stop shop for the best of men's fashion needs. Come on in and ask for Fred.
Pittsburgh City Paper is available now. Pick up one today for Neil Young, Jeffrey Toobin, Amy Schumer, and the Pittsburgh Opera's Rigoletto. Pittsburgh City Paper, available at over 1,700 locations throughout Western Pennsylvania, and on the web at pghcitypaper.com, and on your smartphone at citypapermobile.com.
Have a question or an opinion? Call Lynn Cullen at 412-316-3381 or email lynn at pghcitypaper.com. Now, more with Lynn Cullen Live.
Okie doke. Welcome back. Ansel, I'll get to Ansel's email in a second. We got a caller. Hi, caller. Hello.
Good morning, Lynn.
Morning.
Hey, I'm going to make you feel old today.
Oh, listen. So what else is new? I feel old every day. Go ahead. Go ahead.
50 years ago today, 1/2 century ago today, Love Me Do, the first record by the Beatles, was released. That's half a century ago.
50 years ago.
50 years ago.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, that's right. I'm placing myself. Yeah.
That
50
makes you feel old?
Well, look, I happened to see Mick Jagger the other day, not walking down the street, but and that makes you feel old too. I mean, he just looked like this wrinkled old,
I think
we're
he looked
old.
Great.
Oh,
Oh, there's that Martin Scorsese.
Yes, that's what I saw.
Movie.
That's what I saw.
Yeah. Oh, it's just. Yeah, he's old and wrinkly, but he still moves around. He moves around a hell of a lot better than I do. That's for sure.
He's too skinny.
First off, that's a great movie. But I think Mick Jagger looks better the older he gets. I don't know. The crags in his face, the crevices. But anyways, 50 years ago today, the whole Beatle thing started, and that's kind of a wake-up call, I think, for me personally. But
How old are you?
I'm only 53.
What? Well, then you don't remember that.
No, I don't remember it, but it's, I'm certainly a big Beatles fan, and
I remember it. I remember. This is how old I am. I remember the first person who got the Meet the Beatles album and brought it to school.
wow.
And I remember us all, girls, arguing over who was, that cover of the four of them, four of them with their little haircuts, which we thought were so long, their long hair. And we were arguing about which one. No, that's John. No, that's Paul. We were just getting to know these guys, and we didn't know them yet, but we were already just madly in love. That was huge.
And did you yell and scream at the top of your lungs?
No, I'm not one of those. I'm not a screamer. But I remember the Ed Sullivan, when they were on Ed Sullivan. Oh, I never saw him perform, but yeah, I'm a lot older than you.
Well, what I think was kind of funny, if you remember the Super Bowl about 10 years ago, the Janet Jackson wardrobe meltdown.
Yes.
Well, after that, they decided we're going to make Super Bowl halftimes, family-friendly, rated G. So who were the first couple of people? Paul McCartney, a Beatle, the Rolling Stones, the Who. These are groups that, back in the day, our parents hated them because they were subversive and turning their kids against their parents. And now, all these years later, decades later, this is family-friendly, G-rated entertainment to put on the Super Bowl because they don't want to see Janet Jackson's boob again.
Well, stick around long enough, and I guess we'll all become respectable, huh?
Yes, we'll see Ozzy Osbourne at the Super Bowl.
Well, that's true. He's just like this old, doddering, uncle you love in the, sitting in the corner, right? Ozzy.
Yeah, prop him up.
Yeah, he's adorable.
Okay,
you. Thanks you.
Very much.
Yeah, thanks. Love me do. You know I love you. Think of how insipid those lyrics are. I'll always be true. Wow. No, I'm not surprised that's 50 years ago. Hello there, caller. Hi.
They hung up.
You hung up? All right. Let me read Ansel's email then. As I watched the coverage and analysis after the debate, it was obvious to me that the collective Democratic response to the president's performance was one of outrage. That is true. I mean, did you see Chris Matthews? He absolutely went ballistic. On many news outlets, you could see many dyed-in-the-wool Democrats and liberal analysts chastising the president harshly. There was anger. Caller. Hello?
Yes. Hey, Lynn. It's Mike from D.C. How are you?
Oh, hi. I'm fine, Mike.
Hey, I think that we're kind of shortchanging the president here because he had a tall order to do. He had to both be moderator because Tim Blair wasn't, and he had attacked Romney without looking like the angry black guy. And what I think Obama really could have lost is his brand. His brand is too cool for school. Nothing's going to faze me. And had he attacked him at the judgment, he would have lost that branding. And I think that branding is what he was really trying to protect.
Well, but he came off as disengaged and not there. It was lackluster. I hear what you're saying, and in a way, because he's a black man, right? He has, as no surprise to any blacks out there, he has a tougher row to hoe in that, yes, you never heard a white candidate being cautioned not to appear angry.
And on Hannity's show the day before, they had this secret video of Barack Obama.
The race. Right.
Did you see that?
Oh, yeah. And
I think that's what they were setting the president up for.
Okay.
To try and get him away from being cool and calm to being that angry black guy.
Right.
And if he needs to win moderate, he can't be viewed as angry. And what he has right now over Romney in spades, no pun intended, is that a lot of people like him. And Romney, no matter what he can do, he can't get above 48% likability.
Well, yeah. We like him, but a lot of us are angry at him. Because I think there wasn't any oomph. How could he say, he didn't have to get angry to respond to some of these unbelievable statements that Romney was making. He even, you have to admit, he even was sometimes appeared almost incoherent. He was like,
Romney shocked him when he said he had no intention of giving tax breaks to the wealthy. I think he was really shocked by that.
Well, yeah. As I said, it's sort of, I feel for him in that regard. How do you debate somebody who just flat out, lies about everything he said in the past, what his policies would be, his stance, everything. That's true. But as I said, Obama, first of all, has to avoid appearing to be the scary, angry black guy. He also has to avoid looking like he's above it all, because that's something else a black guy can't look like. Like they're looking down their noses at us. So he's got all these lines to walk. Appear presidential, but not angry. Appear this, appear that. And maybe at some level, whatever, he just couldn't get it up that night because this was not a good performance. I'm sorry. And you'll see in the next debate why it wasn't, because next debate, I assure you, he's going to do better.
Yeah, I'm sure.
And he won't be angry.
I'm sure,
but I hear you. I hear what you're saying.
What's the role as a professional in the field? What's the role of the moderator when someone makes a bold-faced lie? Why didn't Jim Lehrer say, for the past 5 years you have been saying this, now you're saying that? Well,
because that actually is Obama's job. I don't know. You could say that some moderators would have done that, but you see, here, Jim Lehrer is PBS. You heard Romney say, I'm not going to give any money. Do you think he wants to, he doesn't want to appear in any way, Lehrer, to be giving Romney a hard time, thus, proving that PBS is pro-Obama. There are a lot
Obama missed that. He should have looked into the camera and said, if you want Big Bird to go away for you and your kids, vote for that guy.
Right, exactly.
You know what I mean?
There was so many. The Big Bird line was like just a lob to Obama, and he didn't pick up on it. And there were many, many, many others, but Lehrer was abysmal. It was the worst. It was just the worst. Romney took charge because Lehrer wouldn't, and Obama just sort of sat it out. I think you'll see
Do you think his brand was damaged?
No.
And I think that's what he was trying to protect. I think he has to protect that more than he has to win one debate against moving target.
Well, I think he's got to win the next two.
I hope he does.
Thank you. Nice to hear
Thanks,
from you.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Okay. Well, that's funny. So that was the first Obama partisan that was suggesting that Obama did okay. When I was reading, and it came in as I was reading Ansel's email saying that uniformly Democrats were very angry and harsh with the president regarding his performance. And Ansel says, I applaud the Democratic response. He suggests that the Republicans would have been claiming victory if they were in our shoes, that's all they do. They just disregard, again, whatever just happened, whatever reality there was, and say that Obama won hands down. That's it. Actually, it was a riot to watch. I didn't watch it, but again, Jon Stewart on the Daily Show replayed some of the Democrats, the spinmeisters, in the old spin room afterwards. And their job is to say the president did just fine, and they had to. Well, it was laughable to listen to. It seemed laughable, especially given how the vast majority of observers of that debate scored it. Obama did not win. You can argue, as the caller did, that he didn't lose, that he protected his brand of being calm, cool, and likable. But I actually didn't think he seemed like the more likable of the two. If I were just coming in and never saw either of these two guys before, I would have said Romney was more likable. He cracked a few jokes. He looked at you when he was talking to you. Obama was like, Obama would just, to me, just totally blew it. Dorothea writes, as I watched, unable to explain my president's poor showing, I theorized that perhaps his mind was somewhere else. I thought maybe there was another bin Laden-like operation going down, or maybe just prior to the debate, he was just briefed about a terrorist threat or something. Personally, how could you fault a leader of the free world if his mind was somewhere else? Well, that's a nice, and I'm sure a lot of people were thinking that. And I've seen, Dorothea, that a lot of other people have suggested, I thought somebody just told him something terrible right before he went out. But if you'll recall, when the bin Laden raid was going down, I believe he was at an event. Wasn't he at the National Press Club or whatever that is, the Correspondents' Dinner event or something? And he was being funny and laughing, and he was cool. So, no, there was something else. If his mind was somewhere else, to me, where it was saying, oh, shit, I don't want to do this. I hate this. It was almost kind of a petulant thing, I think. And what Jon Stewart said is, hey, he said to the president, we all have jobs, and there's parts of our jobs we don't like, but we have to do them. And that debate last night, that was part of your job. No one else could have done that for you. You got to do it. And you got to show up. And frankly, that's what I think. So, yeah, he's the leader of the free world. But if he wants to stay the leader of the free world, then this is part of the job. It's to get re-upped for 4 more years. And he knows that. I think it might have been more of, I really don't want to do this, a complacency based on the polls showing that he's going to win it. And as I suggested earlier, maybe the unconscious need to tighten the race up to make him interested in it again. I don't know. I'll tell you one thing, media want a tightened race because it makes, obviously, it more interesting, which means more people watch their shows, listen to them, read. It makes it more dramatic. If it looks like it's a runaway, then everybody just sort of snoozes. So Obama's lackadaisical performance, for whatever reason, was a great gift to the media, to the chattering classes, I guess of which I am one, because it makes things a little less certain. Indeed. Okay, I got another break to take. Then when I come back, I have a question to ask you. It's a question that's bothered me all my life. Oh, that's true. It's bothered me ever since I've moved to Pennsylvania, which is now over 30 years ago. But will somebody answer it? I think maybe I've asked this before and nobody has ever answered it. I need an answer today, email or phone. Okay? First a break.
Email your questions and comments to Lynn at pghcitypaper.com or call Lynn at 412-316-3381. Lynn Cullen Live will return in a moment.
If you love great indie movies, then it's time to get real. Real Q, that is. Real Q is the new name for the Pittsburgh International Lesbian and Gay Film Festival. This year, see movies with stars like Olympia Dukakis, Robert Gant, Meredith Baxter, and Pittsburgh's own Vanessa German. Real Q screens at the Harris Theater in downtown's magnificent cultural district from Friday, October 12th through Sunday, October 21st. For more information, log on to realq.org. That's REELQ.org.
Well, again, if I haven't been able to talk you into maybe thinking about becoming a volunteer tutor at the Greater Pittsburgh Literacy Council, let me ask you something else. Do you know somebody who is looking for a little more meaning in their life, who is in a little bit of a rut? A friend of mine the other day said that she has decided that she has to avoid getting into a rut. And to do that, she is going to every day do something, excuse me, that she has never done before. Every day. And it can be as little a thing as I'm going to eat at a restaurant I've never been to. I'm going to listen to a radio show I never listened to. Or it can be something a lot bigger. And she's holding herself to it. She wants to shake herself up the littlest bit or bigger or whatever. I think it's a great idea. If you know somebody who's sort of in a rut, suggest, people do. They suggest, volunteering is one of the greatest things you can do. First of all, you help, you make a difference, you contribute, you're doing something positive. And what I know to be true of volunteering is it is the volunteer who always gets the most out of the experience, even if they're helping somebody else. Ask any volunteer. If you say to them, oh, you're so selfless to do what you do. A volunteer will always say, oh, no. In fact, I feel very selfish because I get so much out of the experience. Do you know somebody who would maybe benefit from being reminded of that and needing a little push not to get in a rut? Maybe that's even you, but if it's not, tell someone else about the need for tutors at the Greater Pittsburgh Literacy Council. Give them this phone number, 412-393-7600. Suggest they go over to the website, check it out, GPLC, Greater Pittsburgh Literacy Council.org. Thank you.
Go to bergbargains.com for great deals on tickets to the Science Center, City Theater, History Museum, Carnegie Museums, and some of the best restaurants in Pittsburgh. This week, get discounts on gift cards from Outback, Olive Garden, and Nordstrom's. bergbargains.com. Local deals, local merchants. bergbargains.com. Get Lynn Cullen live on your smartphone. Go to citypapermobile.com now for Pittsburgh City Paper's brand new mobile app. Get the latest restaurant reviews, event listings, movie times, and of course, Lynn Cullen live on your smartphone. citypapermobile.com.
You're listening to Lynn Cullen live at pghcitypaper.com. Once again, here's Lynn Cullen.
Okay, so it's off the subject, but it has to do with the hats. The hats that state troopers wear. Okay? Picture it. They're, first of all, goofy looking if you ask me, but they're goofy. It looks like they've got a helmet on with a record, style. It looks like they, just like this platter and then helmet. But that's not the oddest part. The oddest part, and it drives me nuts, is the chin strap, right? You know what I'm talking about? To hold this stupid thing on your head, you have to have, there's a strap right there, like it starts around where the temple is, and it comes down, and of course you would put it under your chin to hold the hat on. However, this chin strap doesn't get under the chin. Do you know what I'm talking about? You see a trooper, and the chin strap ends right under their lower lip. Well, what the hell is the point of that? I'm asking. It looks, one, stupid. It has no utility whatsoever. It would be uncomfortable. it's not going to stop. I mean, might as well, why not just have it under their nose? I mean, you got a better chance of your nose stopping it than your lower lip if your hat was going to blow off. What is that about? And what could possibly be the explanation? I'm just asking. But it's one of those things that when I see it, it's not like it bothers me every day of my life because I can go for literally weeks on end, maybe even months, without ever thinking about the chin strap on a Pennsylvania State Trooper's hat. But I'm thinking about it now, and I don't get it. It's as absurd. I'm going to say this, troopers. It is as absurd as those, the boys walking around with their pants down around their ankles, practically. It doesn't make any sense. And it's visually unappealing. It doesn't make you look cooler. It doesn't make you look bigger, badder, and, scarier. It doesn't do anything except make you look like an idiot. Hello?
Hello.
Do you have an answer to this question?
I do.
Oh, thank God.
It is the same reason they wear clip-on ties is the reason they keep the chin strap right below their lip.
So they can't be used against them?
Exactly. So they can't be strangled. They can't be grabbed from behind. If someone were to grab that hat from behind, the chin strap would just go up past their nose. It's a safety feature.
Okay, well then I counter with this. Then why have the chin strap? And because it's not doing anything. Putting it under your lip does not hold the hat on.
Well, I knew a couple of troopers who worked there for 30 years.
Yeah.
And their appearance is very important. I think that strap, it doesn't make a hat formal, but I think it sort of completes the look. That's the only thing I can explain.
Okay.
But I completely agree with you. It looks totally stupid. It looks uncomfortable.
Yes.
And you can't stop staring at it when you see them on TV.
I know. You want to say, oh, stop it. Doesn't that drive you crazy?
It's ridiculous.
Well, your explanation is, I didn't realize, so they have clip-on ties, too, huh?
Yes, they have clip-on ties so they can't be strangled.
Thank you.
Okay, Lynn. Bye-bye.
Okay. Oh, you guys are so wonderful. Okay, so it's, okay. It's a defensive thing. On the other hand, I would just argue this. Lose the strap altogether then. Because you look silly. I think it takes away from the grandeur of your... Because you're right, they do always look sort of crisp and... Oh, God, I don't know. Okay, but I appreciate that. Some quick emails here. David writes, the only example Mitt offers to fix the economy is to fire someone. That is true, Big Bird. And in this case, it was Big Bird and Jim Lehrer. Well, personally, I'm with him on firing Jim Lehrer. It's all Mitt knows how to do is answer for everything. Fire him! Fire him! It's true. And I think somebody did point out that firing Big Bird and or stopping funding of PBS doesn't do a damn thing in terms of the deficit. It accounts for something like 0.0000001% of the. It's absurd. It's absurd. Margaret writes, at least boys with baggy pants wear underwear. Well, yes, that's true, Margaret, and I cannot disagree with that statement. Quickly, before we go, another thing, and one of the more controversial aspects of Obamacare is free contraception, so that a woman now, a health care plan. Some health care plans didn't even cover birth control. Is that amazing? They cover Viagra, but not birth control. Under Obamacare and starting January 1, women will have access to birth control without a copay. Well, listen to this. This is huge. And listen to this. A study that was started up a few years ago and has now been completed, and so the numbers are out, gave free birth control to young women, I think near St. Louis somewhere, whatever. I think this was done in St. Louis. And you know what? The rate of unintended births just plummeted. And if the rate of unintended births plummeted, what else do you think plummeted? Abortion. So this aspect of Obamacare, by the way, the very aspect that the Catholic Church went nuts about, this aspect of Obamacare prevents abortions. With the women and girls in this study, there were little over 6 births per 1,000 teenagers, even though the contraception was available, okay? 6 per 1,000 still got pregnant. Compare that with a national rate right now of 34 births per 1,000. Went from 34 to 6. And the abortion rate obviously heads in the same direction. The president of the American College of Obstetricians and Gynecologists said it is just an amazing improvement. And I would think if you were against abortion, you would be 100% for this contraception access allowed by the Affordable Care Act, a.k.a. Obamacare. But you know what? The Catholic Church being one, a lot of the people who are opposed to abortion are also opposed to contraception. You know why? They're opposed to sex. Let's just put it that way. They don't like the idea of anybody doing it. Unless they're doing it to procreate. Under certain conditions, certain positions, certain this, certain that, they get to pay, whatever. But that is going to be another thing that Obamacare is going to do. It is going to seriously diminish the rate of abortion in the United States. And you would think a whole lot of people who will be voting against Obama would be very appreciative of that. But don't bet on it. Okay, I guess that's it for me today and, in fact, this week. And we'll be back. We actually have a full week next week, don't we? I'm not going anywhere. I believe me, I don't wanna. I've been sick of this peripatetic. What's the word? Peripatetic? Peripatetic. Oh, shoot. You don't know? Peripatetic. You know what I'm talking about. It means moving around a lot. And right after I say goodbye, I'm going to look it up. I've got one syllable too many, I think. Okay, have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful weekend. Be back Monday. Toodaloo.
Lynn Cullen Live, Monday through Friday from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. and archived at pghcitypaper.com. The opinions expressed on Lynn Cullen Live are those of the host and do not necessarily reflect the viewpoints of Pittsburgh City Paper, Steel City Media, and its advertisers.